Hello guys, welcome to Landing America podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Today I decided to invite my friend Alesya Negodina to talk about her immigration story. Alesya is from Russia. She moved to the United States in 2012. She is now a spiritual coach and she received her a green card through the marriage. Welcome, Alesya.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. So, Alesya, let's start from the very beginning. Where were you born? Tell us a little bit about your background, family, education.
Sure. I was born in far east of Russia. I was growing in that environment, very cold environment, not just weather, but people as well. I never felt comfortable there. I was thinking like, why I was born here? All these people, this weather, And it was also a lot of violence. It was crime, 90s in Russia was not the best time. And since a young girl, I wanted to move from Russia. I wanted to go and explore the world. My parents got divorced when I was 7 years old, and my mom left to South Korea, and my father was working as a seaman, so he was traveling the world. And as a young girl, I saw my mom living to the other country, my father traveling, and it gave me even more desire to go and explore what is there. But I had to study, of course. They want me to get a degree. I was visiting my mom since I was 12 years old. I was visiting her in South Korea. She was living. And I remember my first experience with new culture, with new food, new language. It was so exciting, I was like, wow, it's possible. People speak different language. The streets are very clean and nice, everything for people. The food is delicious. So it was pretty interesting. First time seeing something new, right? And then I was studying political science in the University of Far East of Russia. After first year, I realized this is not what I want to study. Me and politics, it's very different things. So I turned 18 years old, and I said, okay, now I can leave the country without the permission from my parents. Okay. Let me try this, and let me go and explore the world. So I was thinking that I'm gonna travel a little bit and then I come back and, I finish my university. Never happened, by the way. So, 18 years old, I left to Moscow. By the way, my city is close to Vladivostok. It's 9 hours fly from Moscow.
Wow.
Super far away. So here I am, 18 years old girl, flying to Moscow by myself. Surprised by the size of the city and people and this energy. And from there, with my friend, we went to Spain. We went on the buses. It took us 3 days.
Wow.
It was fun, very fun experience. From there, I don't remember from where we flew to Madrid, I think was it. So the Spain was, for me, was like, wow. The food, the climate, the beauty, happy people, right? They're more joyful, more uplifting. And it was pretty amazing. I really loved it. I was about to come back to Russia, but my aunt, she went to Dominican Republic from Far East of Russia. She went for 3 months to Dominican Republic, but then she said, I like it here, I'm gonna stay. So it was always on the phone, right? And she said, come to visit me. even for a few weeks, just come and see. And I'm like, okay, where is Dominican Republic? I don't know, but let me go.
I was the same going to Malta. I had no idea where Malta is when I first went. That's the funniest part of moving abroad. Let me go a little bit backwards. I wanted to ask you about your childhood in Russia and how did you think about America as a child? Did you see American movies? Did you ever have the desire to go to the US?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, back then, 90s in Russia, it was very tough, very limited in everything, in food, in clothes, in electronics, right? There was not much things, and it was a lot of crime. There's a lot of violence and a lot of scary things happening. And me seeing it as a child, of course, I didn't like it. Some people say, "Oh, I was growing. This was normal for me. It was okay." For me, it never was okay. I always felt like I don't want this in my life. I don't like it. It does not feel right. So,
is it still the same, or did it change?
Since it's been a very long time since I moved from there, I'm not sure. I hope it's changed, but probably that part of Russia is same. Last time I went 2019 and it's nothing changed there. So, but definitely since 90s and now, of course, there is some change in this part of violence and crime and things like this, because it was like, people you was opening the business, right? Want to make money to provide for your family, but someone come to you and say you have to pay us, right?
Blackmailing.
Yes. So now I'm not sure if I think it's in a big scale now.
Mafia.
Yes. But before it was like everywhere, right? Around every corner.
I think it was the same in Slovakia, actually. We didn't really know about it that much, but now when the documentaries are out about mafia and all the stuff that was in the 90s as well in Slovakia, my mom always keeps telling me, she's horrified, like in what times we lived back then, because now everything comes to surface, how it worked back then. It was very similar, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, you decided to go from Spain. Did you speak English back then?
Very little English.
So how did you go around Spain and Dominican?
Well, first of all, when I was going to Spain, I had this how we call it, translator, right? In a book. Of course, there's no Google. Now we can do it all from phone. No, before it was a book. So going to the Spain, I was learning. And during these 3 days of traveling from Moscow to Spain, I was learning my Spanish. I was like, hola, okay, and this is hi. So I had to know at least few words. When I arrived to Spain, I actually had a teacher. She was coming to me, and she speaks no English, she speaks no Russian, just Spanish, right? And my Spanish was a few words. So that's how I started to learn, right? I said, I have to learn. If I'm here now, I have to learn. And I had interest. I loved how it sounded. I always was looking how Spanish people talking, and I'm like, wow, this is an interesting language. I want to learn it.
It's beautiful. I love it too.
Yeah, because with English, what's happened to me, in schools, right, in Russia, English, they was presenting it as something very difficult. A lot of rules, grammar, pronunciation. The teachers who was teaching us, they never had an actual conversation with no one in English. So how they could know how to teach us,
Same. In Slovakia, same. I was learning English for 17 years, and after I left school, I realized I'd never been in an English-speaking country, and all my previous teachers were actually Slovaks. So you can only learn once you go. You cannot learn from Slovaks speaking English.
Yes.
Very good English.
Yes. So my journey started with Spanish, right?
Okay.
because English, I had this idea, oh, it's so difficult. No, it's not for me. It's too difficult. So after that, I went to Dominican Republic. I was thinking maybe a few weeks, it's gonna be nice, to explore something new. It was 9 hours flight from Madrid to Dominican Republic. I realized, wow, it's somewhere very far. So my first night, I remember when I arrived to Santo Domingo, the capital of Dominican Republic, I was so feeling so much happiness and joy in the air, the people so happy, even more than in Spain. Everybody's smiling, everybody is so open, friendly. The climate, I felt so good. I felt so warm, the beauty around it. My first night, I remember I said, wow, I want to live here. And from there, I spent 3 years in Dominican Republic.
What were you doing there?
We opened a real estate company with my aunt.
Nice.
Because that time, it was 2009, after the big crisis, a lot of Russians, they realized that they can go to Dominican Republic, to this beautiful island in Caribbean, and they can invest into properties and get the residence.
Okay.
So, and it's cheap, right? It's not so expensive, and they live in paradise, and they have the investment there. So they start to come a lot.
Interesting.
There was no visa requirements. You don't need to... I'm not sure how it's now, but back then you didn't need to have a visa to go there. So it was convenient for us, right, to work with in real estate. And also I start to do more art there. I start to paint. I start to create some clothes.
Okay.
So I really open up my talents there. And it was very, very nice. After 4 months in Spain, I was able already to communicate. I was able to explain simple things, right? If I need to go to a bathroom, restroom, or I want to eat, right? Or anything like that. But the thing is that Spanish and Dominican Spanish is different.
For sure.
Yes. For example, in Spain, right? They talk very polite, very nice, very beautiful. ¿Cómo estás? And Dominican Republic, they cut the words and they say ¿Cómo tú estás?
Yeah. There's so many different versions of Spanish, especially in like South American Spanish and then Caribbean Spanish. I noticed that as well when I moved to Miami. After a certain time spending with people from different countries, Spanish-speaking countries, I realized that I'm already distinguishing who is from where just based on their Spanish, which I felt like it's an accomplishment to be able to recognize that. Okay, so let's move forward. What did happen after those 3 years?
After those 3 years? First year was amazing, right? I'm still enjoying the sun and the palms and all the happy people. But after a while, I realized, every day is the same, right? Every day is kind of, there is no evolution, there is no growth.
And you don't like stereotype.
Yes, and also to do a business with Dominican people in Dominican Republic, it's not easy because they don't have this drive.
Okay.
They don't have this like let's accomplish more and let's do more and let's do more. They're very slow. They're very calm.
Chill.
They're very chill. Come tomorrow. Or they say 5 minutes and it can take 2 hours. It's very, very
laid back,
challenging when you wanna do something quick and open your. It took us 8 months to open the office.
Okay.
So, and for us, for Russians, right? Because we are kind of quick, we do the business, we do the things, right? It's totally different culture. It was challenging. So after a while, I started to realize, I actually on my childhood dream, because as a child I wanted to go to United States, because America, it was something like, some example of the country that very advanced, right? That American dream, right? Those movies from here, those nice clothes from here, right? It was very, very like advanced, and it was something that I wanted to visit always. Disneyland, right? All these things, and
it's futuristic.
Yes,
That's how I feel when I go back to Europe. I feel like I'm traveling back in time, and then when I'm going back to the US, I feel like I'm going to Futurama, like in that show. Like, everything suddenly seems like 20 years ahead or even more.
Yeah,
I feel you on that.
Yeah. So I was in Dominican Republic, right? Getting tired from it, even though it's so beautiful, gorgeous, and being so close to United States. Of course, I was thinking maybe it's time to start to plan moving here. But first I wanted to just come and visit, right? To see how I'm gonna feel. And by the way, on Facebook, I met a Dominican guy. He was here in Miami living, and we was chatting with him while I was living in Dominican Republic. We was just talking. I was asking how is United States, how is Miami. So he was telling me a lot of things. He was born in New York, even though his parents Dominicans, but he born in New York. Then some time he spent in Dominican Republic. Then he came back and moved to Miami. So I had already someone with whom I had those conversations about Miami and what can I do there, right? And the prices, like if I want to buy a car there, how much it's gonna be. And I was slowly planning my move.
So how did that happen then, in the end?
In 2012, was it? Yes. My mother and my grandma, they came to visit us in Dominican Republic. I already opened visa by that time, American visa.
What type of visa did you have?
I had a tourist visa.
Okay, which is B1, B2?
I think it was B1, yeah. I was a resident in Dominican Republic.
Oh, you became resident because of your business?
Yes, because of the company. And
did it make it easier for you to get tourist visa as a resident of Dominican Republic, or it doesn't matter?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I came to a consul in Santo Domingo, I showed, right, that I have a company here, I'm living here, I'm a resident of Dominican Republic, and I want to go and visit. And they opened me very easy, very quickly. They was like, oh, sure, go, explore it. You deserve it. It was very easy. Yeah. So my mother and my grandma came to visit me in Dominican Republic, and my mother died there. It was a very challenging experience for me. And she was living in South Korea. I had to fly to South Korea to fix all her things, to meet with her ex-husband. So it was the darkest time of my life. I was very depressed. I lost myself completely. I was in very destructive patterns. But when her friend saw me in that state, in state of disaster, she said, okay, let me take you to the church. So in South Korea, I went to the church. I started to read Bible. I started to connect to God. I started to realize there is something higher than myself, and I'm not just this physical appearance, right? What I see in the mirror, I'm bigger. And actually, Jesus Christ, he came to this planet. He showed us the way of compassion, acceptance, forgiveness, love, and all these beautiful virtues, beautiful universal rules, I call them, right? Something that help us to open up all the beauty that we're carrying within us. So it's helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. And from South Korea, I already knew that I don't want to come back to Dominican Republic. I want to go to United States. And in 2012, October, I came here.
Okay, so you came as a tourist. You had a visa for 6 months,
Yes.
and you met with your friend.
So yes, I had a visa, tourist visa. I wanted to do the student visa. So I was thinking, okay, maybe when I come, I change my status to a student visa. But the guy with whom I was talking on Facebook, he was like, let's meet finally. We've been chatting for 2 years on Facebook. Let's meet in person. So after, I think around 2 months, after 2 months in Miami already, I met with him. And it was very beautiful because I felt like, wow, we knew each other for many lives, you know, these connections when you feel like you just met the person, even though we've been talking for a few years, but it's online, right? It's different. When I met him, I thought like, wow, I feel so comfortable around this person. So after 2 months, I moved with him.
Nice.
After another 2 months, I got pregnant. Another 2 months, we got married.
Wow. So it was a love at first sight almost.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so you basically got your green card through this marriage. Can you describe how was the process?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, 12 years ago. But yes, I still remember. So we went to the court, right? We made an appointment to become married. We got married. I was already pregnant. It was quick. The process was very quick. And after that, we just went to have some dinner.
Okay.
So for me, it was very... I was expecting something different, but it was very, calm, peaceful, fast process of the marriage ceremony.
Did you take care of your application process right away, or have you been waiting?
We actually started right away. And my ex-husband, his sister, she knew how to apply. She helped us with the process to fill the forms and everything. So it was not difficult for me. I had a great help.
Do you remember what documents did you have to provide? I know that you have to show proofs that your marriage is real, right? So you need to show that you live together, maybe some bills together. What else is there? Pictures, phone bill, electricity bill, bank accounts together, right?
Yes, all those things. We had a joint bank account, the lease, the apartment we was renting. I was in the lease with him. Also pictures, a lot of pictures of us together. What else?
You were expecting a baby, so I guess
I was pregnant.
That's a great proof of love, right?
I was still very nervous for the interview, even though I was pregnant. But the interview came after I gave the birth.
So how long did you have to wait for the interview?
So in July 5th, we got married. After that, we sent the forms. And I was already, how many months? Like 3 months, 4 months? And the interview came when my son was 6 months old.
Oh, so you've been waiting almost a year.
Yeah. And I was going with my baby to the interview and I was nervous.
Oh, wow. Well, I believe everybody is nervous.
Yeah.
At least what I heard from the stories, because you never know what the outcome might be. How was the interview? Did it go smooth, or did they were they suspicious about this marriage?
It went pretty smooth. They took some pictures from the album that they never returned. I was like, oh, my beautiful pictures, please. So I was with my son. They did not
They didn't
separate.
take it the son?
No. For a proof. DNA proof.
In a database.
It's real or fake, baby? No. I think they really they saw us, because we were so in love, we had a beautiful connection in the beginning.
So you got approved, and then you got your 2-year green card,
Yes.
and then you had to renew your green card to a permanent, right, resident. Was that an easy process as well?
Yes. And I think I was feeling it by myself even. The second one. Yeah.
And right now you are an American citizen, correct?
Yes.
When did you become an American citizen?
So it took me a while. We got divorced in 2019. We've been married for 6 years. And I became a citizen in 2022.
I believe you can be a citizen 5 years
5
after you
years,
get your green card, right? So you waited a little bit longer.
I waited. I had some financial challenges after divorce, because I went deeply into my spiritual journey since I came to Miami right away. I went to yoga, I started to meditate, I started to asking big questions like, who am I, why I'm here, what is my mission as a human being, and who we are as a humans.
That brings me to actually my next question. I wanted to ask you, what exactly do you do as a spiritual coach here? How did you develop into this career?
Yes, when I came to Miami, I was recovering from depression, and my inner voice, first time in my life, first time in 22 years, was saying me yoga. And I'm like, well, let me follow this voice. And I remember I was driving in Coral Gables from the English school that I found, because my English was very bad when I arrived. When people was asking me like, hey, how are you? I was saying, my name is Alesya. So this is a level of English I was at. And I realized if I'm in the United States, right, I want to live here, I have to learn English.
But at the same time, you were in Miami. In Miami, everyone speaks Spanish, so
Yeah.
you could use your knowledge of Spanish here too, right?
Yeah,
this day.
It was easy for me to communicate because like 80%, right, in Miami it's Spanish. So yes, I still said, no, I have to learn it, it's time for me to finally learn the English. And so I'm driving from that English school in Coral Gables, and I see a huge sign of yoga, huge yellow sign of yoga. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm stopping my car, I'm running across the street, I'm entering this yoga studio, and there is a Korean lady. And I'm like, wow, I just came from Korea. My mom lived in Korea so long, and Korea, it's kind of in my heart, it's a big part of my life.
It was a sign, huh?
Yes. And that Korean lady, she charged me so fast for a month ahead. She's like, okay, tomorrow I see you here at 9:30 a.m. I'm like, yes, ma'am. And that's how my journey with yoga started. And so funny because they saw me. I started to come practice often, and they saw me and they're like, wow, we're gonna teach you kids yoga. You're gonna share yoga with kids. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm still kid. I'm still finding myself. How can I teach someone? Right? So, but I start to read a lot. I start to journaling a lot. I really decide to change myself completely. I made this decision to change everything about me. How I think, how I feel about myself, how I feel about the world, my beliefs, everything. And I start to take in different courses. I start to go to different teachers, a lot of books. started reading a lot of different philosophers, right? Those deep questions asking. And but then I got pregnant. I stopped with Korean yoga. I started to do the prenatal yoga, and it was more physical. After giving a birth to my son, I started to practice a lot in LA Fitness. You know, LA Fitness, they offer classes, and it was very convenient. My son was 3-4 months old. I was able to leave him in the kids club. They had this kids club in LA Fitness, and I was taking different teachers, yoga teachers. And I was meditating at home. I remember my first time meditating. I sat in my room and I closed my eyes. And after 10 seconds, I said, no, it's not for me. Because I started to realize how many thoughts I have. And I'm like, no, I cannot deal with this. Too much. Let me go do something, you know? But I knew that I have to learn it. I have to learn to quiet my mind. I have to learn to become an observer of my thoughts, of my emotions, how I feel, my body, the state of my body, right? So little by little, with guided meditation, I start to meditate, listening someone. It was easier. And yes, in 2016, I decided to become a yoga teacher. I saw how impactful yoga been in my life. What, you know, a lot of changes. Because after death of my mother, I started to realize that so many of those childhood experiences, since, you know, they divorced, my parents divorced when I was 7, I felt like I'm not deserving love, I'm not deserving a complete family, that I'm not enough, right? As a kid, you don't know many things, right? And you just create those assumptions. And you
All
believe
those childhood traumas, they haunt us
Yes.
our whole life. Yeah.
And in 22, I started to realize, wow, I was looking, people were saying that you're beautiful, right? But I was thinking, I'm not beautiful, I'm not smart, I had no confidence, I was feeling so empty inside. So with yoga, with meditation, all these practices, self-love, acceptance, accepting, forgiving my parents, right? Because I hold inside of me this
Grudge.
Yes, I was feeling like, why you left me, right? But then I realized, but they did their best. They was working to provide for me, to put me in a good school, to put me in a good college, to buy me food and clothes and be able to take me on travels and stuff like this. And they didn't know any better, right? And then I start to see all those things, that we are victims of victims. Right?
From generation to generation.
Yeah.
100%, yeah. I also came to the age when I realized that they did their best. They did what they could with the knowledge they had and with the upbringing they had. You know, you just pass on unless you really start looking into things and try to change patterns that you've been brought up with. You're gonna pass it on too, actually. So yeah. I would like to ask you, what do you like about the US?
What do you like about US? It's a gorgeous country. We have a beautiful land here. So many beauty, so many parks, so many Grand Canyon, Arizona. Oh my God, Sedona. I had a retreat there. Such a beautiful place. Powerful. The land is so powerful. I connect a lot with Mother Nature, with our beautiful planet. And I love to travel to those gorgeous places, parks, national parks. I love it that you can be yourself. You know, you can say your truth. You have the freedom of expressing yourself. This part I love. You can be whoever you want to be. Of course, there is people who take it too far. Right? Everything in moderation. Balance. Let's learn to balance things. But yes, I believe that you can study here for free. This country offering you so many benefits, so many beautiful things. The government really help you. No matter you immigrant, citizen, right? You have papers, you don't have papers. The country is really helping you. They give you food. They can even give you the roof over your head. Of course, it's not going to be the best, obviously, but at least something, right?
I remember the allowances during COVID. That I don't think that was anywhere else in the world. People just receiving money for staying at home, right? What a support. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could compare people in Russia with people in America, what would you say?
You know, I think Americans, they are funny. They happy. They enjoy the life. They really don't worry so much, right?
They don't stress.
They don't stress much. They friendly, they nice, they free. In Russia, it's different. People very cold, very close. And I understand why, of course. They've been through so much suffering, so much revolutions and war and all this survival mode. They really deeply. And I think for Russians, there is a program that you have to suffer, you have to survive. You know,
That mindset.
The mindset, yeah, you have to be a good person.
You will become someone through suffering.
Yeah. But I never liked it. I never felt comfortable with this. So Russians, they've been through a lot, and they still there. Even though the world is changing, everything is changing, they still stuck in this survival mode.
Is there anything you don't like about the US, living here for so many years now?
Of course, like everywhere, right? There's good things, there is not so good things. But ultimately, what is good and bad?
It's very subjective.
So, I don't like the food. The food is very plastic, let's say. It's not natural. It's a lot of filled with a lot of chemicals, a lot of, like, we don't see here organic food. And if we see it, it's extremely expensive. And it's not
that good.
100%
Anyway.
organic.
Yes.
You know, you have to open the lab to make sure. So this is for me a big challenge, since I have a son. I have 10 years old boy, and I'm trying my best to feed him with healthy, clean, whole food, right? Because we take some chips, there is 100 ingredients, and we barely can read them. So this is for me sign that this is not natural at all. This is scary. And I believe that our body is a temple for our soul, right? It's a beautiful temporary home that we live in, and we have to take very good care of it. We have to really respect and appreciate and love our body. And by feeding it with not natural food, we're destroying it.
So you basically don't like the food in the US, but do you like the food in Russia?
It tastes different. The food tastes more flavory, more natural, more real. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I miss food in Europe in general. When I used to go to like Sunday markets and get those like fresh tomatoes that are actually tasting sweet and like tomatoes. Or watermelon with seeds. I don't mind seeds, I don't need seedless everything. Yeah, the food is one of the first things I always mention when somebody asks me what do I miss from Slovakia. It's 2 F's, family and food. What would you say is the hardest thing in being an immigrant?
Of course, separating from your family. Yes. Even though I was growing up looking at my family, thinking, who is those people? But, with years and a lot of changes, internal changes, and a lot of inner work of forgiving, of realizing things, right? Being more open, right? I realized that family is the closest people that you have in your life, and no matter what, they will love you, accept you, no matter what, and they're always there for you. So it's really difficult for me to be so far from my father, my grandma. Another grandma, she's 91 now, and I really want my son to meet her. Right? When you becoming more mature, you start to realize the importance of this connection with your family members, and to show your kids to have these values, family values and traditions, and
Where you from?
yes, and
Who
where
you
you're
are.
from, exactly. I'm grateful that I'm Russian, even though I don't like it there, right? But I'm so grateful that I have this DNA in me. I'm grateful for my mom and dad to give me life.
Does your son speak Russian?
Very tiny bit. I took him twice to Russia, and we've been there months. Every time it was around a month. And he was starting to speak words, but then back to US, he's again switching and like, I'm American.
What do you think was the most challenging part of raising a child here as an immigrant, as Russian living in the US?
Again, having not family, not support, because I was on my own. My ex-husband, he was working every day, and I was by myself home. Well, what helped me I was walking every day, 5 hours a day with stroller, walking. And thank God I had my aunt in Miami.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the one with whom we lived in Dominican Republic. She actually moved here first, and then I came. It was very helpful to have her. And from time to time, when I was very tired, I'm like, Yulia, please call, help me. Can I bring David to you? I need some rest. So my aunt was helping me with my son.
Would you say that America fulfilled your expectations?
You know, when I came first time to Miami, I was expecting something else. You know, our expectations is always unfulfilled.
Okay.
Our ego always want more.
That's true.
Needy. Right? Our soul is always enough. It's everything enough, right? So I was expecting something more beautiful, more modern, more things. But after a while, I realized, wow, it's actually pretty good, right? The system is good. People fight the system. I was one of those. I was fighting. I was like, all this political, medical, all the stuff. But it's actually, look, the roads. We have beautiful roads here, right? We have beautiful educational places, right? If you want to get your degree, we have
Job opportunities too.
opportunities, so much opportunities. America actually helped me to professionally grow a lot, you know, to find myself and to be able to help others now. Because here I became a yoga teacher, here I became a health and life coach, here I accumulate so many certificates in healing modalities. So it's helped me. It's made me a much better person.
Would you have done anything differently looking back?
I don't actually like this, you know, to change anything, because I really appreciate it for all the experiences, all the people, everything that I went through. It's helped me to unlock my potential. It's helped me to become a better person. It's helped me to have compassion, understanding, and be able to help others now who is going through similar situations. So I'm so grateful for everything. Yeah, maybe more confidence, maybe more trust, definitely, you know?
Okay.
Living with more trust, more confidence, and knowing that everything gonna be amazing.
Have you been dating in Russia
Yes.
and in Dominican?
Yes.
And here too?
Not much, no. Because
So could you compare the guys?
Oh.
A little bit. A little cherry on top at the end.
Latin and Russian boys, completely different. Don't have nothing against Russian boys, but I had a crazy love in Dominican Republic. It was very intense. It was to the point when I was destroying everything from his ex-girlfriends, breaking all the presents, from the past relationships. A lot of jealousy, I left Russia twice to end this relationship. It was that intense and that crazy. Drama. A lot of drama.
Passion.
A lot of action, a lot of passion. And then here you see again, my ex-husband, he's Dominican. He's American citizen, born in New York, but he's Dominican. So after living in Dominican Republic, I was still like,
attracted to
Latin,
Hispanic,
Latin boys. Not anymore.
No. You learned your lesson.
Never say never, but for now I'm done
with
Latin boys because different culture, very different culture, and they call them machista.
Yeah,
it's mean that they want women what they want, right? Women have to be that and that and that. For me, relationship is a partnership, right? When both people enough, right? When both people self-sufficient, right? They can be on their own or they can be together. Together they can be more powerful, but not that they need each other or that I cannot live without that person. This is not healthy relationship. And I've been there. I've been stuck in those types of relationships, right? Toxic and dependent.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that experience because now I know how I want, what I want, right? And I'm pretty confident in myself now. I love to spend time with myself. I really enjoy my time, my energy, my space. But at the same time, I'm ready for that mature partnership, right? With a man who found his calling. For me, it's important because I found mine. And who supports me on my journey. And same, I'm ready to give to my man support and, and love and respect and traveling together, but also traveling apart, right? Not being crazy about always stuck together.
Possessive, yeah.
Yes.
For sure. I agree with that. Do you have any advice for people who are thinking about visiting America or moving to America?
If it's your dream, if it's what you really want to do, go ahead and do it. Please don't get your fear stop you from what you really want. Don't think it's going to be super easy.
No.
Don't think everything going to be like open up for you here and given to you. You will have to go through struggle, yes. But after that, you're going to become so powerful. You're going to just say, wow, I did it. You're going to be so proud of yourself. Yeah, it's better to, of course, to have someone here. It's very difficult when you come and you don't know completely no one, right? And for example, for Russians, I don't recommend you to come here and to stick to Russians. Right? If you come here, try to be open to meet new cultures, to meet Hispanic, to meet Latin people, to meet Americans, learn the language.
Yeah.
Learn the language, because I know so many Russians who still stuck in that Russian community and they cannot speak even after 15 years living here.
Yeah.
So
That's
be
crazy.
open your mind. And be courageous, and you're gonna achieve everything you want.
I love that. How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Alesya Healing. You can check my website, alesyanegodina.com. I have my services there. I do different things. I offer private yoga. I do spiritual coaching, as well as sound healing and some other healing modalities. And I also share self-awareness with kids. As those Koreans in Korean yoga back then, 2012, they saw in me that I have the potential to work with kids, and I absolutely enjoy it.
That's why they charged you so fast. All right, Alesya, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your amazing story with us. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you.